Aura, that is the new word. We've also got cinema and live show charisma. Wrestling is not a real place. We are focusing on the first today though, because in many ways it's more important than in-ring psychology. Fans love it. Given how rambunctious the industry can be, however, you're only one angle away from being told you are now Aura-less, which isn't a thing, but hey, we gotta talk about something today, so I am Simon Miller. And let's go through 8 very specific examples. Number 8, Austin Aries. It is important to know that Austin Aries at one time was ahead of the curve. He was a must-see in many a promotion and could move from a wrist lock to a 450 no problem. He was a talented guy. Aries was also the TNA champion and nobody blinked an eye, and even when he was dueling with Neville in the cruiserweight division, they weren't given the platform, but the feud was really good. Some of the matches were top draw. For some reason, though, in 2018, Austin got annoyed about something, I suppose, and went into, to use the classic term, business for himself. It was TNA's Bound for Glory show, and Aries was going to lose his championship to Johnny Impact thanks to Starship Pain. It was totally okay. At the time, a title change felt perfectly acceptable. Johnny got the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd reacted, so yeah, we were having a good old time when we weren't. For some reason, Aries instantly got back to his feet as if nothing had happened. He left the ring, and then he flipped off TNA executive Don Callis. What? Now, of course, some people have claimed this was a work that went awry, whereas others are just like, nope, Aries threw a tantrum, I guess. Only those involved know, but you gotta look at it from both sides. If this was story-based, why did anybody agree? After WCW pulled this nonsense in 2000, we all knew how stupid it was. Don't do it again. And if this was Aries deciding to ignore the art of wrestling, well, it caused a right stinking sort of stole away all the good work he had done. That's not what you want. Everybody just wanted to talk about this. Number 7, Seth Rollins. I think this one is slightly unfair. When WWE was going through a rough time in 2019, they were blessed to have Seth Rollins. Aside from his work in the ring, Rollins defended the company to a fault. The WWE needed that. Some of the booking was awful. The tweet that set the internet wrestling community off was after the Battleground pay-per-view, and you don't remember that show. That's not your fault, because I'd mentioned it was such an odd time for WWE. Nothing felt like it mattered long term. Seth decided he would defend the cruiserweight match between Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Tozawa after online criticism, but that's not really what people were mad with. Again, it was just this constant lack of consistency. For example, elsewhere on this card, we also got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus The New Day, and just as the former was starting to cook, they were broken up because of course they were, whereas Ricochet versus Samoa Joe had given it their all for their United States Championship bout, but that belt just didn't matter. It was horrible to see. It'd been reduced to a trinket. Rollins himself faced Baron Corbin, and again, the match was fine, but WWE were not being fair to Corbin here at all, so when Seth came out the other end so forceful, well, there was always going to be a backlash. Not for pay-per-view, it just wasn't a fun period. Of course, it's hit the ceiling when we got to that Hell in a Cell match with Bray Wyatt, but I do feel like Rollins was just trying to fly the flag. He was the guy and likely felt as if he was trying as hard as he could. I truly do understand this, but yeah, it wasn't the best move, and WWE overall, my gosh. Number 6, Ric Flair. This is going to happen with every wrestler if you go on too long. Can't begrudge it, because who am I to tell someone when to retire? And also, no, I don't think it ruins somebody's legacy. It's like the Star Wars films. There are some stinkers, but that OG trilogy, you just can't touch it. It hit harder for Ric Flair just because, intentional or not, he did have the perfect retirement. The one more match and I'll go away forever stipulation in WWE from 2008 onwards wasn't the best booked, but when we got to the Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania 24, well, it was excellent. We got the big Raw send-off too, and of course the Nature Boy had the itch again. He barely missed a year of action when he went on a Hulk Hogan Australian tour before going on a massive run in TNA. It was almost as if we'd made up him drawing a line on his career in our heads. Those Aussie shows didn't help either, as they did not light up the world. While he did have some good moments in TNA, fans don't forget, we're like elephants. We already knew he had given it up. His retirement match in 2022 also didn't help. Flair pretended to have a heart attack mid-match, and it's not the way to end a legendary career. Sometimes you do just have to walk away. Number 5, Sin Cara. Or maybe Mystico as you know him now. And if you need proof you can get your aura back, go and watch this guy in 2025. He's probably the most over person throughout Mexico. He is seen as a walking hero. Years prior to this, in 2011, Triple H saw the potential in the man too, and he made him his first big WWE signing. Presentation was mostly the same, but he did have a brand new name, Sin Cara. To give you a better idea of what they had landed, Mystico was helping CMLL sell out Arena Mexico all of the time, and that had a capacity of around about 16,500 fans. He was also voted the biggest box office draw in the Wrestling Observer Awards, and that was in 2006, and yes, at that time, John Cena was active. For whatever reason, this new character was doomed though, and that was from day dot. Sin Cara had a spectacular entrance where he was going to use a trampoline to bounce into the ring, but nope, it went wrong and he fell on his ass. Of course, anybody can get past that, but somebody must have had it in for this guy. All of his subsequent matches had some sort of error, and look, he's only human, but from a fan point of view, it was becoming a thing. This dude was meant to have come right out of a comic strip, and nobody was buying it. There were also rumors as well backstage that Mystico was acting too much like a star, even though he was a star. I mean, that's just wrestling politics for you. It really did fall from there until Mystico left the company, but as I've said, he did find his way again. That's a reminder, kids. You are never totally dead in the water. Number 4, Chris Jericho. I mean, you just can't get away from it. I do understand the internet chat is not the overall wrestling discussion. That doesn't mean we can dismiss it entirely. All walks of life have to be considered. The issue this group have decided on, though, is that the Chris Jericho vortex is a real thing, and anybody who gets trapped within it is doomed. I mean, that is quite damning. They point to the feud with Ricky Starks, which sort of triggered a heel turn when beforehand Ricky was becoming a mega babyface, and then there was the Adam Cole program. Not even I can argue that one. For whatever reason, it just did not click. Hook didn't really benefit either, and who knows about Sammy Guevara? I don't really understand what's happening with him. It led to please retire chants, and I've already made my thoughts clear on that. You're a long time gone. You should wrestle as long as you think you're able to. It is true, though, that some of these did affect Jericho's overall aura from a select audience, hence why this conversation is continuing right now. I don't think it affects his overall run in the industry, which has been all time. And look, we're still getting gems in recent memory. That Bandito match was great. I suppose the contrast comes in the fact there was a time when Chris Jericho could do no wrong. He was the forever guy, but you know the deal. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Indeed. Number 3, Jeff Hardy. Here is another guy who has mad staying power. I mean, go and watch the Hardys return to NXT in 2025. People still love them. It comes after a lot of issues for Jeff Hardy, which have always held him back a little bit, and Jeff himself talked about this in an interview. If he had stuck to the straight and narrow path, his star level likely would have been 10 times what it was. And trust me, during his heyday, he was massive. 2011 was the first true low point, as Hardy was meant to be challenging Sting for the TNA title at Destination X. To this day, I've no idea who signed off on this, but Jeff was allowed to go to the ring even though he was clearly intoxicated. The man does not look well, and before the bell rings, then GM Eric Bischoff sorting us out for no reason, and secretly relays the new plan for the bout. Sting is going to pin this guy instantly, even if by force. The referee counts to 3 no matter what. It was awful. Sting himself was livid, as he had every right to be, and the fans were pissed too. I mean, of course they were. If you'd spent your money to see Sting versus Jeff Hardy, you wanted to see it. That was an iconic match on paper. This came off a string of similar stories, and we know what happened in AEW. It was just bad, and it did take away from the entity that was Jeff Hardy. Thankfully, he seems to have things back on track today, and that is what really matters. That's why fans are back by his side. Because really, there ain't ever going to be anybody else like him. Number 2, Jon Moxley. Is this one fair? I think it may be a little bit of recency bias. Let's get stuck in. Absolutely, the character of Dean Ambrose was killed in WWE when he turned heel on Seth Rollins and started to breathe through a gas mask. Unless you've seen this, you do not get how bad it is. No wonder he was desperate to leave WWE soon afterwards. He totally reconnected with the audience when he did debut for AEW in 2019, and let's have it right, he was a huge reason for that company's rise. Not only was it a little bit like All Elite Wrestling's Lex Luger WCW moment, but him being there just helped. Moxley was awesome. This continued for ages too, until we got to this most recent Death Rider story. The intentions were right, as John's idea was to resell the idea of the AEW World title being the be-all and end-all, while simultaneously pushing as many of the young guys as possible. That's why at one point Darby Allin was rumoured to be the dude to beat him. He was as OG as they come. As we know, that didn't happen, and eventually the whole angle got weird and messy, until nobody really knew what was happening. Mox took the brunt of this, as it felt like it was his pitch, and sure, the goodwill he had was knocked a bit. That's wrestling for you. You're only as good as your last show. Kidnapping the Rock and Roll Express didn't help, as AEW fans felt this was way too WWE. and as of me talking, it is still going on. Although it does kind of feel like the company is getting ready to pivot. I will not take all of this and allow you to forget about what Mox did, though. You're allowed to have one swing and a miss. So while I personally don't really massively like the Death Rider story, it's still Jonathan Moxley, man. He is a very, very good wrestler. Number 1, Hulk Hogan. I mean, where do we even start? Of course, Hulk Hogan was one of the biggest wrestling stars ever, and without Hulkamania, who knows where the WWE would be? That is all true. That doesn't mean we can't make multiple statements, and as well as the above, Hulk is also a walking ball of controversy and seemingly not that good of a person. The first proper blow was the racism scandal that also featured Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, and some of the things Hogan said were abhorrent to say the least. What was even worse were the news reports that when getting ready to say sorry to the WWE locker room, he instead made it clear they're all celebrities, so be careful what you say and who can hear it. I mean, I wasn't there, but if that is true, that's not an apology. There's also so many other tales, all of which make you question the world, and it all led to the January 6th Raw debut on Netflix. For some reason, WWE decided to will Hogan out again, and yep, he was loudly booed. It's not really a surprise when you go through his recent history, and whatever Hulkamania once was, well, it's not now. Every 1980s heel who promised to kill this wave had finally succeeded. All they had to do was let Hogan go Hogan. I can't imagine we'll see him again anytime soon, and it is all on his shoulders. None of this was good. I mean, it really wasn't. It was not good at all. Know of anybody else that apparently has lost their aura and you may need to go and get it back? Well, let us know in the comments below before you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Why not click that video on the screen for yet more wonderful wrestling madness? Otherwise, my friends, you take care of yourselves. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you again very soon.